welcome everyone. I hope that you can see my presentation. I think you should be able, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So this presentation today is for rapid prototyping with Figma for UX and UI design. And the whole idea of this workshop and like upscaling workshop was to show how someone can very fast come from an idea to live solution. And this was like the idea for the whole workshop from our side. Yes, I want to like to remind everyone that you still have some time to join the hackathon. It's about her hack. It's the biggest like female-led hackathon in Switzerland. It's like between 1st and 2nd of November in Bern. Everyone can scan this link here, and then you can go and then register there. You still have time to register. I also believe it's until tomorrow, but maybe I'm wrong. You should check the website. So we encourage everyone to join, and then and also I believe even if you don't have a team for a hackathon, you don't have buddies, feel free to join the hackathon. You will find like-minded people, and then you can form a team for the hackathon, and then yes, you will start from there and like maybe come up with a great idea for like a potential problem, right? So that is the introduction for the hackathon. Like again, scan the code, and then you still have time to register. So on the agenda for today, again, I wanted to give you a bit of like intro about myself and how we end up here. Then we will dive a bit into theory, not a lot, with more practical examples. Yes, the workshop is about rapid prototyping, but we need to also and Figma, but also we need to understand what is behind it. And then we will all move into Figma tool, where I'm going to show you like some ways how you can build a prototype, what the prototype should look like, and then we will close with Q&A and some final statements there. So this is our agenda. First, very short intro, then like a bit of theory. Then we move into Figma, where you can follow me with your own Figma tool, and then like or not, or you can just watch, and then we will finish with Q&A and closing statements. So yeah, I think we can like also like officially start this presentation of the agenda and the information about the hackathon. So my name is Dimitar. Currently, I'm leading a couple of UX initiatives and design operation at Sunrise. Sunrise is the second biggest telco in Switzerland. Besides that, besides having the UI and UX projects, I'm also the Figma admin, and I'm also managing the design system at Sunrise. And I have built a couple of design systems previously from previous companies. I have published them. They're on Figma community. I'm going to share the links to those design systems with you, so you can always access them and use the resources from them. In my free time, I'm also co-organizers of the Friends of Figma Zurich chapter. So you can see here on the right side, it was like more than now a year ago, where a couple of us in Zurich sat together and we said like we wanted to create like this group of like-minded people or platform community, and we really wanted to share experiences, methods, best practices in the UX UI field. And then we were like also looking at projects, talking about design thinking, design tools, UX research and writing, also how to build MVPs, how to be better at prototyping, and much more. Our primary website, we organize once per month events in Zurich area, and they're usually on different location. And where you can find us is like on this link here, meetup.com, Friends of Figma Zurich. And then if you go there, you will find all our upcoming events. I also like want to promote. We have upcoming event on the 30th of October, which is going to be held at the Faculty of Arts in Zurich. And then yes, studio will present their work, and they're like how they found it. They're like design studio, and they're doing some projects now in Zurich. And I was lucky enough that through the Friends of Figma to get in touch with Constructor Academy. And basically, the reason why I'm here is because I was invited on behalf of Constructor Academy. I'm also like thankful for them. For those who don't know and have not heard what Constructor Academy is, like they're like a education organization. They offer immersive technology programs and topics like on short courses. The courses can be anywhere from a month to a couple of months. I'm not sure. Like they're like, I think maybe you can have a look at their websites. Their courses like are targeted for like individuals. They want to like boost their careers, meaning that you're in a field like you as a designer, you want to upskill something, you want to learn some developer skills, then you will go and find some of these courses, and then you will take them for a couple of months, and then of course at the end you will get a certificate and everything certified. They also like work with bigger companies as well. They have 1,200 graduates, 200 projects, 50 plus instructor. The locations of Constructor Academy are in Zurich, Munich, Bremen, and they also like offer remote courses and programs. I especially want to give a shout out to the Zurich office. It's very close to Habe, to the central main station. So like it's like less than 5 minutes walk from from the central main station in Zurich. So very easily reachable, like to reach it. So maybe even if you want to get some course and upskill yourself, you can very easily come to Zurich and then from Zurich go to them, or maybe you will like enroll in one of the courses remotely as well. And yes, you can again find their programs and stuff on this link here in the middle. For Friends of Figma, my organization that I have, you can find it on the right side. And then also, if you want to stay in touch with me, you can always like scan the code here. And then also, this is the link to my LinkedIn. You can add me for like there, we can connect, and then you can follow what I'm doing, and I'm always publishing the new events that like I'm participating at. So like welcome to connect as well with all three, like with me, with Constructor Academy, and then with Friends of Figma as well. Yes, that's it from like the very short introduction. I won't like yes. The other things that I wanted to mention that besides the design systems and Figma, I'm really interested in CX strategy, innovation in new technologies, and I'm also like big supporter of hackathons like this one. I really like the whole environment of hackathon is super innovative. I think you can do a lot there, and it's very inspiring to like I mentioned, like to find like-minded people, passionate people that want to solve problems, and then like to like present a solution there, and then you can see what can happen from there. Okay, so now I think, and officially we kind of like we can also like kind of start with this kind of like a topic that I had like prepared for you. So like first thing in the also in the topic there were like many things: UX, UI, rapid prototyping, Figma. But the main topic actually is kind of like a rapid prototyping, and the second topic is Figma, right? So before we do anything else, I wanted for all of us to understand what is like rapid prototyping. So like for those who have not heard, it's kind of like a process. It's not a mockup. It's not a Figma link. It's not a like a it has like three steps in a way that you can have to follow. You cannot say that you did rapid prototyping if you just did a mock-up or a Figma prototype. That's not it. So the first part of the rapid prototyping is for you to build something, to create solution of a design concept or flow, but based on user needs and maybe company needs. So it's very important for whatever you build to be based on, to have like a company mind or like a user mind or both. Sometimes those things are not mutually excluded. So yes, then you will create, let's say, an idea, a concept. It doesn't have to be the final solution or a flow. And then the second part of rapid prototyping, which is really important, and we would really want everyone from you to focus on, is the review stage, where you would test your solutions, hopefully with target users and key stakeholders to learn whatever whether it meets their expectations. So it's not important to just to build something, but it's also important to test something. If we build something like the reason why I like UX and UI is because like it's kind of democratic design. I don't build stuff for me, I build stuff for other people. And to do that, like I have to test my solution. So like whatever I build, I always try to test it, give it to the real actual users that are going to use their solution, then listen to their feedback, what they have to say, like if is it really solving their problem. So very important kind of like step, like we have to, so that's why I wanted to mention that it's not just mock-up, it's a process. So, and the second step is super, super important. Then we will get some feedback from like a users or like a potential stakeholders or like a whatever. And then we want to adjust the solution based on the feedback that we received, right? And as you can see here, it's kind of a circle. You can repeat this as many times as possible as you want. If you're like in a real company, you will go through this process like 3 or 5 times. You'll build something, test it, refine it, build, test, refine it until everyone is happy with solution, and then it might go into development. And that is the main goal. The advantage of rapid prototyping is because it prioritizes speed. And it's really simple here, like it's just like a simple process where it tells you like build something fast, right? Then test it with some users, 3 or 5 users, then change the designs or iterate again, change the flow, then again, review it, refine, build, right? You go in, it's very fast. And I have like also video to show you regarding how fast it is. So next slide, what I have is like, I'm sure you have heard about this term, which is called design thinking. And I, on purpose, put it into our like workshop today to tell that design thinking is not the same as rapid prototyping. So like I can say from my perspective that if you heard about design thinking, that design thinking is like a more complex methodology that has like really 5 well-designed steps. The first step is empathize, then you define, ideate, prototype, and test. What I can say that kind of like design thinking kind of encapsulates rapid prototyping. So it's kind of like a more bigger initiative, right? To have. And what I mean by these 5 kind of steps, you can also see from this picture that they're also not linear. So if you have like so sometimes like if you have a problem, right, that you want to solve, first of all, like in this design thinking methodology, you have to really go into the like a deep research of to think about who your users are, to empathize for them. And it's not just that, it's also about like having this kind of like a discovery phase of like who the users are, so what are you trying to build and all of that. And then based on the users that you have, like when you will like you will try to define the problems, right, that you're like trying to solve. And I think all of you, like the people that are going to participate on this hackathon, they will go through these kind of like phases in a way, they will like also try to, you will also like on the hackathon try to define some problem that you're trying to solve, and you have to answer a question of who are you solving that problem for. So, and then of course, you will be afterwards like divided into like groups, and then you will go into this kind of like ideate prototype testing idea for you guys. Same but not same. So that's why I put this slide here for you, that like rapid prototyping is kind of like a shorter, faster, and whereas like design thinking is like a proper methodology. In real companies, design thinking can take anywhere up to from 3 weeks to 3 months. So it's not in really it's time and big thing to go through all the 5 stages, from empathize to define, ideate, prototype, and test. So yes, that's it regarding design thinking. So again, question is like, as I mentioned, like design thinking 3 weeks to 3 months, right, can happen. But on the other hand, we have rapid prototyping, where basically you can go from idea to prototype, and that prototype is tested and everything in just a couple of hours, and even like 2 days, like you have for the hackathon, right? So let's say that this is, and rapid prototyping, I think it's like ideal for hackathons, because you have an idea or a new flow, and you want to show potential investors, not just investors, also like people that are in the hackathon, how your innovative product or innovative features that you're going to brainstorm can work. And like you can create like kind of like a simple low high fidelity mockups. You can test them on the hackathon like very quickly with people, and I will show you also how you can do that. You can, and then validate your kind of like ideas and design before building something, right? It kind of like, what is important, that rapid prototyping kind of involves minimal planning, and it just like focuses on designing stuff like in Figma, for example. And then you don't have to also do everything. You just like, you will select the most relevant screens, and then you will try to build prototype of them to see if the flow makes sense, to see if the features make sense, like, and then like it's on the spot with like ton of people for you. So it's very applicable. Sorry. For a hackathon environment. So so yes, that's it. So it will help you to build something, then test it, validate, and then change your designs as well. Okay, now we have some tools for rapid prototyping, and like I mentioned before, rapid prototyping has 3 phases or stages that you have to go through. And for every stage, you kind of have like a different tool that you can use or not. Like for the first stage where you have to build something, you can use Sketch, you can use Figma, you can use Adobe XD, and then you can do some UX/UI prototypes. Then you will have the second stage that I would really want for you to really try and then maybe test those prototypes in the hackathon, right? And then you can use like, let's say in-person interviews, or like online interviews. You can use platforms like user testing. Or you can go very simple, just Google Forms, Excel, or FigJam, or even you can use like tools like Zoom to review or test your designs. So you can just very easily just share the link of the designs that you have made from Figma. And I'm going to also show you how you can do that with potential users of the solutions, and then they will give you some feedback. And then again, from there, from Google, like from the knowledge that you will gather from Google Forms or Zoom or user testing or like even FigJam, then again, you will return back to the tool that you built that actual prototype or designs to refine it, right? And then like, again, probably you will use the same tool. You won't like switch to another tool. It's not recommended. So you will like go to So if you choose Figma, you will go build Figma, review, let's say Google Forms, then again, refine Figma. I would not recommend to build something in Sketch. Okay, you can do the review in whichever tool it is, but then to refine it in Figma, like to switch to some other tool, it's not the best. So this is like, I want to give you some options. It's not, yes, the workshop today is for Figma, but I also want to mention there are like other tools for prototyping. It's not just Figma. So I don't want for you to be stressed in the hackathon if you don't know Figma, if you know some other tool, just use that tool to build something. It's building something is more important than in which tool you're building it. But of course, um, I would recommend Figma, and I will show the functionalities in Figma for this workshop as well. So I want to mention now something which will be really important for you to understand, that when you're going to form the teams in the hackathon, right? Maybe you will be the designers, but then there will be some developers, right? And then there will be some business people, and you have to learn how to collaborate with them. The reason what like I want to mention is that you will be maybe one of the fastest team members. Like designing, especially in Figma, is like super fast. And now we're going to like watch like this funny like real video that I found, that I really like to show you how fast you're like in Figma comparing, let's say, to a proper developer. So let's watch the video. Okay. So that's the video. I quite like it. It kind of tells you what like a designer does and what like a developer does. So like I wanted to play this video just to put in perspective that in Figma, everything will be really fast. Especially, let's say you still have time. If you look at some videos like on Figma website, you will learn the basics, and then you'll be super fast in designing something. You'll be like on the hackathon environment, you'll be even faster than the developers. Like previous workshop that we had was kind of like HTML, CSS, and everything. So I just want to give you in perspective, whatever you will do in Figma or the other tools, it won't be possible, like developers won't be possible to catch up with you guys. Like that's why you kind of like, they will do their own thing, you will do their own thing, and then everything will be part of this kind of like MVP project in the end. So yes, and then like you will be the person that you will also kind of guide the development process in a way. But of course, like you will do your stuff in Figma, you'll be super fast, but developers will have to catch up with you. So try to give them as much as support as possible as well. Like you've seen here, like this dude in Figma, he created a day-night button that can like changes like stars and everything, like but then the developer hasn't even started creating the first version of the day button there. So like you're super fast, especially like in like tool like Figma with the functionality that it offers. Okay, now Figma. For those who do not know, like currently, Figma kind of like became like the tool for building stuff, I would say. And it has grown a lot. I've been lucky enough to be one of the early adopters of Figma, and I've been using the tools for more than like 5 or 6 years professional in a professional environment. Like I think I built my first design system in Figma. It was like more than 5 years ago. Like I was happy enough to be supported by managers that will always allow me to use the tool that I wanted to do, like for prototyping and designing, and I was always like passionate about the tool. And then yes, that's how also like kind of my story like came about with Figma. When I started using Figma, it was just one product. It was just Figma design. It was even called like Figma. Now we have basically Figma has 4 products officially that they offer. So first of all, what they have is the Figma design. This is where we're going to like focus our attention. So the first product is Figma design to design and prototype. Like it's a tool for designing and prototyping. Then on the other hand, Figma as a product also has FigJam. FigJam is a tool to collaborate with other stakeholders, and it's like kind of like a whiteboard where you can brainstorm ideas, you can lead meetings and everything. So it's very useful. Like it's kind of like the competitor of Miro or Mural or the other like whiteboarding tools. And then they have dev mode, especially now, as of recently, as of last year, where developers can go into Figma and see the code from the designs, and then now they really enroll a lot of more functionalities for developments. And I can see that like Figma is kind of like more growing for dev mode now than anything else. And then of course now like if you were like following the news recent, like it wasn't recent, but it's more than half a year now. They also have like Figma Slides now, which is in its beta version for this year, I believe, where you can kind of also create presentations in Figma. I know that you also guys, like for the guys that will participate in the hackathon, will have to build some slides for the final pitch. Like I would suggest for you to align with the organizers of the hackathon for them to lead you, should you use Figma slides or not, or maybe some other tool for the final pitch that you have to have, and in the final presentation, maybe they will say to use some other tool. And of course, for the people, like Figma by default is like a free tool for up to 3 projects. And also it offers like on educational plan is free. So like if you have like educational email, you can use Figma and you can create like a lot of files there. If you have like just a free account, then you can create 3 files there. Let's say either Figma design file or a FigJam file, only 3. And then you can do something. So you don't have to, also for the hackathon, you don't have to pay something. You can like you can use the free version of Figma. And this was one of the prerequisites like of the workshop for you to get to know at least that, to see that to create your accounts in Figma if you want, and then to see that you can kind of create files there. But don't worry, I'm going to also like go into Figma and I'm going to show you how everything is done there. Okay, before we move to Figma, I want to like show you a couple additional slides, and then I will take a short break for questions, and because I also see that people are raising their hands, and then we will jump into Figma. Okay, so also like what we're going to do in Figma is like I want to show you 2 examples that you kind of can create. So like for prototypes, you can create either low or high fidelity prototypes. I would say like for the hackathon environment, I think the most like realistic option is for you guys to create maybe the middle option, the wireframe option, or maybe again depends on your skills and stuff. Maybe you can create a high fidelity prototype with actual fonts, actual images, like color palettes and everything. But again, I'm going to give you the tools, and I'm going to show you how you can create all 3 versions, like prototypes from all 3 versions as well. For the people that are really not proficient in the tool, have never seen it, the simplest way what can you do is like maybe draw something on a piece of paper, take a picture of that, put it into Figma, and then I will show you how you can create a prototype out of like a picture, like in Figma. It's going to be very easy, right? So like, and then, but you, with your team, you will have to decide before you embark on this journey, which way you want to go. Like there's no right or wrong way. It's again up to your team to decide what you want to create. And also like for the final MVP, it's not necessary to have like a high fidelity like a prototype or a mockup. It's like the middle like version is also valid just for you to show let's say some functionalities how they can look like, but also do not worry also to show something that you have drawn on a piece of paper but is inside of Figma and is kind of connected. Also nothing wrong with that. It's more about showing the concept for this stage and everything else. And then of course I'm going to, in order, let's say if you want to build like a wireframe or like a high fidelity wireframe, like I would recommend for you to get familiar with one of the UI kits that are offered for free from Figma, and I'm going to use some of them and I'm going to show you. And again, some of them are free. I'm going to show you how you can use them and put them into your project so you don't have to start it from zero. Like you can see here you have the newest UI kit for iOS 18, material design. Then also Figma offers they call their simple design system. And also like you have other versions, and I'm going to show you also mine as well. And then, of course, I'm going to give you some questions, but we will get to this slide later. And I think with this, maybe now it's finally time to take some questions for you before we move into Figma. So I'm going to open now the question panel and see if we have some questions. And this is a perfect time for all of you to raise maybe your hands, like now here. Okay. Looking good for workshops. So there was a question for registration okay, so from the co-organizer of the event, we see that registration for the hackathon closes tomorrow, just to repeat that to everyone. So, and also it's not required for you to have a tech background, right? So as I mentioned, everyone brings something to, some knowledge to the hackathon, right? Some people will bring their technical knowledge, other people will bring their business knowledge, other people will marketing knowledge. So the more people with different like areas, the better, I think, for the hackathon. And of course, you have here the email to reach out if you have some questions. Hello, do you mind sending the Figma meetup link here, please? I will post it, but also like we will like share again this presentation with all of you. So you can have all the links in there, because it's not just the Figma links, there are links from Constructor Academy, and then we will like take it from there. Okay. Also, someone shared it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Claudia, can you give me a co-host? Okay. So Figma, I have like a specific question for Figma. It says Figma is a software only used for UI UX or can be used for DTP. I'm not sure for DTP is. Can Ashna answer what like DTP is? Maybe I'm not sure. DTP, desktop publishing. What do you mean by desktop publishing? Oh, brochures and banners. So like, of course, like I can give you like so I work for Sunrise, and for Sunrise we use Figma also to create banners. So like part of the banners, especially for our digital channels, are created in Figma. We also use Figma to do the promotional materials for Instagram, like reels and so it can be used for multiple stuff. And this is a good question. I will show you some of the functionalities in Figma where you can create some like some extra, yes, what you can like do some extra stuff. Okay, and also like someone, okay, that's what I meant. Got it. Thank you. Looking forward. That's good. So let's see if someone raised their hand. Let me check the participants here. One, okay, Abigail, I will allow you to talk now so you can and ask your question. Can you, like, talking permitted? Abigail, can you post your question? Yes? You're muted, I think. I can see that you're muted. Ask to unmute, okay? Okay, Abigail? No?
Perhaps it was a false manipulation.
Okay, okay, let's see if someone else raised their hand here. None. Okay, like I don't see any other raised hands. If someone has more questions, um, now is the time. Or if you want, like we can like directly jump into Figma and show you the functionalities there. Okay, no more questions, and I also don't think no more comments, so we can like continue with the presentation there. Okay. So Figma, the link for Figma again, for those who know, usually you have to, where is it? The link, okay, it's here. Everyone can go on figma.com/login, and then they should be able to enter Figma environment. Another thing that I want to mention is like Figma comes into two versions. One is browser version and the other one is desktop version. I will maybe, for the sake of this hackathon, use it browsers. So there's like no need for you to additionally install the application for that. Like if you don't want to, and if you think maybe you will use it just for this time for this hackathon, you can also use Figma in the browser. You just go there, log in, if not, create an account, and then you should be able to see a screen like this, right? Where you have on the left side your account, or maybe with your image, and then you have your recent files. Of course, here for Hackathon, I have created my own kind of environment here because I want to have it clean. I don't want to work with my company's account. So here, like first of all, one of the functionalities also for the Hackathon, you can create a new environment, like a theme in a way where you can like create the stuff for the Hackathon, and then give it a name, change the picture, and then of course, you can create, here you can see up to 3 design files, right, inside of this folder. So this is where you're going to probably start. Or if you don't want to do that, if it's like just too complicated with you, maybe you'll be even in your draft or recent folders, you just click on new design file or new fig gem and just start working. You don't have to organize everything. You don't have to go to your files and here create like a proper folder structure. It's just for the hackathon's sake. You don't have to do all that. And then for now, like as I mentioned here, you have to create your either design file, fig board, or slide deck. 3 products. 2 of the products are joined together. Design and developers are joined into this first one, which is called design file. So in order to do that, you will have to open it, and then you will open it like this. And then, of course, you will rename the project yourself. Like you will say, this is like test project, right? And then you will start building it from there. But we won't do this. I want to be faster. I want to show you something else. So in the presentation that I'm going to share it with you, I'm going to work in this file here. So as I mentioned, also, Figma has like a really big community with published resources like UI kits and everything else. One of the resources that I want to share with you is this file, which is called Prototyping 101 New Basics. And I'm going to also share it in the chat with you. So I'm going to share it with you if you want to follow me here. And simply what you can do is like, you can say, open this file in Figma, and then I will show you the basics for prototyping there. So it's very useful. Someone already prepared for you. You just have to click on it, and then choose your theme. Where is it? Like you can see mine one is on her hack, and the file will be automatically saved there where I have it. And it will open it. Okay, now it opened my desktop app, but it doesn't matter. So this is where I'm going to show you and present you the
Dimitar, sorry, can you actually send this link to, I cannot copy it, unfortunately, to everyone, not to host and panelists, because I see you
I put it
shared
in
the link.
host and panelist or like, oh, sorry.
Yes, yeah. Can you please
I'm so
change
sorry.
it?
So like, let me open this. Host and panelist and everyone. Okay, my mistake. Okay, so I can share. I thought that I was sharing with everyone. So I think now everyone has the link. Could you please? Okay, that's good. So this is where I'm going to show you like the basics of prototyping. First, what we're going to do like on the agenda will be to show you how to build a prototype. I will show you the functionalities in prototypes, and then I will show you the more fun part, how you can like either build a low fidelity prototype or high fidelity prototype in Figma over there. And then, of course, we're going to go to some basic prototypes functionalities. I'm going to also teach you how to do scrolling prototypes in Figma, and then how you can preview and share your prototypes, which will be really, really important. I will show you also how to build interactive prototypes, but we won't like spend too much time on it because it's also like not so, it's maybe more advanced. But again, if you want to practice for the hackathon and like really really like work on your skills, then it will be interesting for you. We will also going to go through how to add motion or video in prototypes. So like, yes, 5 steps, and then we will move to like to show you how to build like. So first we will practice in this with this file in a way, and then we will move to show you how also you can build something realistic. Okay, so first I will go to this page. So how the whole idea basically works in Figma. Oh, I want to mention also something else. So some of the users, I think, if you look at my UI, it might be different from your UI. So like I have the newest version of the UI, and unfortunately, you cannot like choose when the UI will be updated. Figma kind of updates the user partially to like a set of users. So they will like select 100,000 users, they will upgrade the UI for them, and then another 100,000 users, and then maybe someone will have the older version of the UI that kind of like that looks like maybe like this. So they're like 2 versions of the UI. So don't be kind of like so that's why what I'm saying, like the old version of the UI looks like this, right? You have the main navigation bar on the top. Yes, but the old version of the UI kind of they have the main navigation on the bottom, and the main functions that you need are on the bottom. So that's the biggest difference between the new UI and the old UI. And of course, like on the left side, you have the pages that you can kind of create, and then on the right side you have the functionalities for design and prototype. So that's it regarding the whole UI. It's very intuitive. If you want to go back, you can always go like back to the file here where you have saved, or you can always rename it here. This is again the new UI, yes. And then you can see difference. Let's say on the old UI, go to the previous UI. For example, you would rename the document here, old UI. So you can see how I switch between. So you have some of you might have some functionalities on the top, and then for the rest, they will have their functionalities maybe on the left side or floating somewhere on the UI. So this is why it was really difficult for me to choose which UI to use, but let's go with the newest one. Hopefully everyone has that one. If not, like I'm sure you will find the functionalities where they are. So in order to build something like to build a prototype in Figma, first thing that you need to do is first you have to design. And by design, what also like Figma means is you have to create frames. Frames are like kind of created very simple here. And here I'm going to answer another question that I got from from the panels. So here, like if I choose this functionality that is on the bottom, which it says frame, first of all, it gives me to create a free form frame that I want, or it gives me an option, right? Delete. If I click on it, it gives me an option to create an existing frame. So you can see here that, first of all, I can create frames for different kind of devices that I want to design for. Maybe I want to design something for iPhone 13 mini. Then it will give me the exact dimensions of iPhone 13 mini. And like, then I will start to create something there, right? Or maybe I will want to create for Android. Then it will give me the exact dimension for Android, and you can like move it like there. Then now it's not just that. Here you can see, here you can build something for phone, you can build something for tablet, you can build something for desktop. You just have to go here, select your frame, and the frame will be kind of like inserted for you on the canvas, right? Moving forward, again, like here you can build presentation, which I don't recommend, especially now because you have another tool. Or maybe you can build something for your watch. Again, you will get a dimension for Apple Watch as well. For people that said like you can build, there are also some dimension for building brochures. You can see here, it's preset for A4, A5, A6, also for letter and tabloid. Here inside of it, you also have like some standard frames for Twitter, for Facebook, Instagram. You can see here the reason why you have the standard frame for like Instagram post. You will insert it, and then if you create something, you will know it's the correct size for Instagram. You won't make a mistake. Also for Dribble, and also even let's say for a LinkedIn cover. So like you can like explore those options. It's not just about just like phones or like desktop application. And then of course you can like explore Figma community if you need more, if you need like let's say more stuff. And of course, like in archive, you will also see what you have used lastly to build. So you can either like go free form, as I mentioned here, to build a frame. Let's say this will be my frame for my app, right? My app frame 1, or maybe you will say, I want to build like a desktop application. This will be like desktop app F1. So it's up to you how you want to go. You can either like use free form or like from one of the pre-existing frames. However, I really want to recommend for everyone to use these frames, predefined frames, to decide from one and just like insert them like in the canvas because they're kind of like standardized. So basically that's it. For you to build a prototype, you need a frame, right? It's simple as that. And the first thing that I'm going to show you is if you have 2 frames on the canvas, that they will have to, so you have to kind of like also here in Figma, you have to switch between 2 views, design and prototype view, right? When you're in design, you create the frames, you create the design, but then you switch to prototype and you will have some functionalities that will open, right? Let's say if I'm on design, you can see here, I have this kind of like dots that are kind of appearing on the canvas, right? So something is happening. But if I'm on design, I have other options, right? I don't have those dots anymore. I have stuff like that. I have stuff like alignments, positions, layout, opacity, fill. Maybe I want to change the color of it, of the frame, or maybe I want to add text inside, right? Text. But when I switch to prototype, I'm like, those functionalities are hidden for me. Why? Because I want to build a prototype. And prototype in Figma is as simple as this. You switch to you have a frame, at least 2 frames on the canvas, and then you just have to find one of the connections from one of the frames, and drag it to the other one, right? And that's it. And then you will have this window, which is also kind of like explanational. It does like from start, from the frame 1 on tap, or you can say on click, on drag, on hover, but again, I would recommend on tap or click. And then it will tell you like action, navigate to. So like you have to understand where you wanna like navigate from that screen. And then what is the final destination here? Because you use drag and drop, it kind of like connected itself. But let's say maybe you know which frame you want to go. You can also select another destination. You can see that frame from the start screen jumps now to screen number 4. So like that's why also like I recommend for each frame to be also like to name each frame, so you know like kind of like it's easier to build the prototype in a way. So like this is also like easier said than done. When I'm building prototypes, I never, it's bad practice for myself, but I never kind of rename these like frames. But now because we're learning, I want to show you the right way of doing some stuff. So whenever you have a frame, rename it. This is my app screen 1, and then you will say this is your, now also like if you duplicate that screen, let's say I'm using the shortcut on my keyboard, but you can see, okay, duplicate frame, where is it, like here, copy paste. Anyway, on my Mac, because I'm using it's Command D, I can always duplicate, and then all my frames are kind of like also like named properly. It's like app screen 1, app screen 2, app screen 3. Otherwise, your frames might all be called frame 1, frame 2, frame 111, or something like that. So like also maybe spend your time renaming your frames. It will be easier for you, but it's not, of course, necessary. So that's it basically. It's simple as that. To build a prototype is like simple, like put a frame on the canvas and then drag and drag an arrow from a frame to another, and just say end. And that's it. And then with this, basically, you will say that this is the start of the prototype. And then here on this button here, now it's possible, you will click, you will open the prototype, right? And then the prototype will be open in like, and then when you click, you will go to the second screen. It's as simple as that. And then on my keyboard, now you don't see, but whenever I click R, it refreshes the prototype. You can test that on yourself. So whenever you click, you will go. It's as simple as that. Cannot be more simpler than that. So like, and with this, you're ready. It's the only thing that you need to build a prototype, right? It's just a frame. When you have it on this tab design, you create the frame, and then on prototype, you enable the functionalities to building the prototype, and then you move to that screen. Again, here, like just to, they're like more complex functionalities for prototypes, and I open some of them, like you can have like also like some animation as well if you want to do it. Usually my favorite animation is Smart Animate. Because I don't want to like think about how the animation is going to look like. Usually I use Smart Animate. I'm going to show you good examples where Smart Animate is really useful for you to see that it really works, and it really like chooses the proper animation for you. So it kind of, you can see kind of like fades in, fades out, fades in, like animation that we kind of created with that. We didn't like have to think about it or anything like that. So that's it. First prototype built. It was simple as that, like frame, and then you go to prototype, and that's it. Okay, now we will like build a more complex prototype here. You can see here that we have like 3 screens, and then we have kind of like a carousel moment in a way, right? And then from these 3 screens, we want to like, when you click on the blue button, you want to move to screen number 2. When you move to the yellow button, you want to move to screen number 3. or when you move to the purple button, you want to move to screen number 4. I'm going to show you the rookie version, how you can do that, and then we're going to go with advanced versions of it. So let me duplicate this again, so I'm having it 2 times. So the rookie version, I would say, and the most tedious one will be like, again, this is like, this object was created in a frame, right? So like, and then because everything is designed, I can just move into prototype and I can say from this, move to screen number 2 and make it again, destination instant. I don't want to have, and then you will say from like the yellow button, you will move to screen number 3. From purple one, you will move to screen number 4. And then we see that from the first screen, we have created 3 buttons. They lead to different screens. And then again, from like screen number 2, you want to go to the second one. Then here you go to the yellow one, and then you will go to the purple one, right? And then you have to go do it for all of them. And then same goes for them. And then we can like see here, if we turn on the prototype, what has happened. So here, okay, now they're like, you can see if I click here, I'll return to screen number 2. It's as easy as that. And there's also another application animation here that if you click on the buttons, you can like move through the screens. And then also this is how prototypes kind of like work. Like Figma tells users where is the clickable area where users can click, right? And then this is where like users should know that and understand that this is basically a picture, but this kind of animated picture that that is kind of like a it's kind of like just connected with frames, and that's how it works. So you can see here, like users will understand that they can click on number 4, and then when they're screen number 1, they can have 4 options even to click on the screen. So yeah, basically this is kind of the first carousel, you know, like we use carousels so much, right? If you open Instagram, YouTube, or everything, carousels are everywhere. Like you can see how it's like it's a very kind of also like important component for like the design community. So like now let's move on to the second.
Can you please maybe answer 2 questions in chat?
Yes, sure. Let me open my chat now. What we see on your share screen is the app, right? Not the browser anymore, correct? Can you please repeat, how do you create an arrow? Okay, how do we create an arrow? Let's move to this screen again, right? So here we created something. So how you create an arrow, you have to go to prototype, right? Here. So you have design and prototype. You have to find somewhere on the UI, the prototype button. Let's go also to the old UI, right? Again, also on the old UI the button is here. You have prototype and design, right? You have to place yourself on prototype, and this is where you're going to enable the functionalities for like prototyping. And then if you, as I mentioned, if you have a frame on the screen, then on that frame, you should be able to see these kind of like dots there, right? You can see them, they're kind of shown. Let's go to another screen, right? Here we have like and then I can see here, like for this button, I have these dots, they kind of like appear. That tells me that from this here, I can draw an arrow somewhere. Like for example, from here, from this button, I want to draw an arrow to screen number 4. I mean, I'm just like clicking on it and dragging it. You can see here, I can also like do this. I can like put it in different screens, right? This is how you will find that arrow, right? Somewhere here. So that's how you do it, right? There's, of course, another way, like I mentioned, if you click on this, you can say on the right side, it's kind of more tedious. I'm never using it. You can say, okay, for this frame, I want to add interaction. Then you will go, if you cannot like work with arrows, you can go here, you can click on the button plus. And then again, it's self-explanatory. You say on tab or click, you want to navigate to another object. Instead of you dragging the arrow, you say here, I want to navigate to a screen. Then you will click here, navigate. And then as I can see here, the name of the screen is screen number 4. And then I will find that screen there. And you can see how the arrow automatically has been created for me. Instead of me like finding maybe also that functionality here. You can do it drag and drop or like that. So that's why I've also went through that exercise to show you guys how you can like create this arrow here. I hope that answered the question. Is okay in chat?
Yes, this is super. And then
Okay,
the next
so
one is that can you please
what
okay,
if the design change from the page is not so significant? Do you always have to create a new frame? Because then we can end up with hundreds of frames. So yeah, let's say here we created a prototype. Like let's say here we created a prototype, like example number 2, right? And that prototype is kind of like working kind of way, right? What I can do is like, I can go here and I can change, I can add text to screen number 4. Text. Okay, now it's too big, but it doesn't matter. That wasn't the point, right? Okay, maybe something smaller. Okay, not too small. 20. And you can see here, I added for this screen heading, right? And you can see here, the prototype did not fail, nothing changed. I just added something. I added a heading and then nothing happened. So you can simultaneously, theoretically also like this add stuff to the inside of the frames, and still the prototype will never break. This is where I told you, like, this is very important. Like design and prototype, they're kind of like, they don't interfere with each other. You can always design, but the prototype will be in touch, right? It will change if you design something else inside of that frame. So it's kind of like, it's different, right? There are two different things here. Design, you put stuff in the frames, right? You put, I don't know, like elements, different colors, but nothing happens with the prototype. You can see here, the arrows will always stay how you have defined them, right? They didn't change. It tells, okay, it starts from here, but what have changed, it was the design, nothing else. So this is where you kind of switch design and prototype. You prototypes stuff here, it's independent from design. Like also, like Figma has that functionality to collaborate on files. Like theoretically, one person can build, refine the screens, and then another person will like work on the prototype. But I would not also recommend that, because like I would rather, like, sometimes it's better just to design something and then go to prototype, and then go back to design, then prototype, not work in parallel on the design and on the prototype. So yeah, basically to build a prototype, you also have to design something, but not necessarily. I'm going to show you also how, not really. And then here, I wanted to maybe, for the people, I'm sure we might have like also like advanced people that are come here. I want to show you like how also you can like create like kind of like a component, and then maybe more advanced navigation here, than rather like connecting all the arrows for all the screens. Sometimes it's easier to create a component. So what is a component? Component is like a kind of like a structure in Figma where you kind of like define some rules for it, and then you kind of duplicate that structure, you put it in a frame, and that structure kind of like behaves the similar way. So let's say if I kind of, I have designed this like in a frame navigation, and then I say create component out of this. And then for this component, I say, whenever we're on this button always goes to screen number 1, right? On click, navigates always on screen number 1. Then for the second button, always navigates to screen number 2, right? Then for the third button, always navigates to screen number 3. And then to the fourth button always navigates to screen number 4. So this is kind of advanced. I'm not recommending for you to do it, but maybe some people will do it. So that's why I'm wanting to show you. And then what you can go here, what you can do is here, you can like all libraries. Okay. Here, you can find that component that I have created, and then you can drag and drop on the canvas. Right, you can drag and drop in this screen here, right? And then you can easily see, because you have defined those kind of like options for that component to also like encapsulate those options. And then of course I can copy this component and put it in screen number 6. Copy paste works for every screen, right? And then the buttons will be always connected. And then of course I can say here, start a flow for this flow, or like this prototype. This will be, let's say, prototype number 3. And then we can like run it and see how it works. So here you can see immediately that if I click on screen number 2, always clicks, and then it's kind of interactive. Yes.
Sorry, there are 2 questions from different people, but the same question. How do you create a component? I didn't see what you clicked.
Yes.
And the other question is similar. Show how you converted the 4 shapes to a component.
So how do you create a component is like as simple as this, like let me close this prototype because it's better. It's like kind of like, so you kind of like, if you want to learn how to create components, maybe you should have a like look at one of the Figma tutorials for component and creating library. But the easiest way to create a component is like, again, to create something, let's say, you can see here on the on design tab, right? And I create 5 shapes or 4 shapes. Let's just do 2, and then one is like, let's say gray, the other one is like red, and then from each shape we kind of create a frame, right? And then frame, because prototypes only works with frames. And then what you can do is like right click, create component, right click, create component, right? It's as simple as that. The functionality is just like right click and then you create a component. Component can be one shape or multiple. Here you can see here that I have created, let's say this is component 1, this is component 2, or this is navigation component 3, right? Like one component can contain multiple shapes or just one, like multiple frames for one. This is the easiest way how to explain it. And then you can see here in local assets, right? If I go to the files, I will find my local assets. I will always find my components. I can always drag and drop them, right? For example, the advantage of a component is like, if I change the master component, I change the color of the component to blue. Whenever I have that somewhere else, it will change to blue. Same goes for here. Here we see that we have the master component, this yellow, but I say I don't want this yellow, I want like a lighter yellow. I will change it, and then you can see, because I changed it in one place, it kind of now changes it to all of the places. And not just that, you can see in prototype, I have defined that this frame here goes to this screen, and I didn't mess up with the prototype or anything like that. It just kind of changed. So, but it's kind of like more advanced functionality. I just wanted to show you for the people that are maybe more advanced, but you don't need it. You can just like go here in prototype. You can just like find these elements, frames, and then say from this screen, go to that screen, or the other way around, like we showed, go to interaction, from on tap, action, navigate to, let's say, screen number 1, and then a arrow will be created. More questions maybe or not?
There is a question.
Yes.
So do we make the prototype links to the... Do you want to read it yourself?
Yes. So do we make the prototype links to the frames before making the components? To create shapes, make them frames, create links, and then make them components? Either individual or rights. So like if you want to go to that route of creating components, which I don't recommend doing because it's too advanced for the hackathon. First thing what you have to do is like create the components, then create the behavior of the components, and then use it inside of the frames and building the prototype. But again, the easiest way to build a prototype is just through these frames and just drag and drops. You don't have to create components. I just showed that example to show you guys that some advanced functionality in Figma, but it's, yes, for the more advanced users. The easiest way is just find these arrows and connect the prototypes, like connect the frames. It's as easy as that, right? Anything, and you don't have to have animations or anything like that. Just do instant, and that will be enough for the hackathon. Okay, now we were going to move. Now, if we know how to like connect these frames, now the second interaction that I want to show you, maybe we're going to skip this presentation because we said we don't want to do a presentation. The second interaction for the prototypes, this is kind of important, I believe, is to show you how you can create a basic scroll in Figma, right? So you can see here that we have this like design something on this document, and then you can see here that the flow, the prototype starts from this frame. However, you can see like also that this frame has many other stuff like hidden, like it's just like a shorter like a frame. You can expand it here. So like in order for this like scrolling mechanism to work in Figma, right? The first thing you have to do is like you say, okay, I want for this section to be scrollable up and down. Then you have to kind of like shorten that section, because it doesn't make shortening like this. And then it's as simple as this. You select the frame, and then again, you're on the button of prototype, and then you have here scroll behavior, right? And then you select vertical scroll, and it's simple as that. And then when you have this, let's say, when you run this prototype, you can scroll up and down. It's as simple as that. So no arrows here, nothing like that. But for example, I can show you two examples here. If we, let's say, if I duplicate this one, we will say for screen number 2, which is, again, we go to design, I change the background so you're not confused. Yes, we say for screen number 2, we go to prototype, we say no scrolling. But for screen number 2, we said scrolling, right? We said vertical scroll. And then again, we say when we click on the first object, we move to the second screen, right? With this arrow. Simple as that. So first screen, we set prototype, vertical scroll. Second screen, prototype, no scrolling. And then in order to move between screens, you have to find this arrow on the objects and then just drag and drop, just like we did with the first exercise. And then you kind of like run this prototype as well. And then you can see here then on the first screen, I allowed scroll here to be enabled. And then also here, you can see here that I can move, I can click on the first image, right? We did that with the arrow. You can also see the arrow here. And if I click here, now I have the other screen. It's completely the same size and everything, but because we said it's scrolling is disabled for this screen, it's not allowed. However, again, it's as simple as this. You can say, I wanted to allow scrolling for this component, and you will just flip it to vertical, and then you'll see, okay, now you can see that you can like kind of like scroll. And if you say no scrolling, you won't be able to scroll it. You can see here now, it's kind of like stuck. I cannot scroll up and down. As simple as that. And then you have two versions of scrolling. One is vertical, and the other one is horizontal. Again, here on this example, we have a frame that has something inside. You can see here that has like some designs inside. And then for this frame, at the moment on prototype, we see it's disabled scrolling, right? You cannot scroll neither left nor right. Then what for if you want to like, let's say, enable this horizontal scroll, you have to select horizontal. And you can see here again, what will happen if I click on the button. You can scroll left and right, right? But Yes, you can see it's like left and right, you can scroll on the screen, right? So it's as simple as that. So you have vertical and horizontal scroll. So question regarding scroll, is that clear for everyone? So it says like you have multiple screens hidden in that one frame. How do you create that mask layer of clipping layer? So actually, let's say how this screen was created, it was as simple as that. Someone like drew, let's say, like went to design, right? And then let's say, let's start like this. Someone made the frame like this, and then inside of that frame, he put a couple of boxes. In this case, he put it 4 boxes, like let's say, and then each box had like a different maybe color, right? And then for each box, this is what someone did somewhere. And then this is the difference between design and prototype. And then for the prototype, it's like how we did it was like you just kind of like shorten that frame, because if the frame is big, that tells just Figma that this is the whole area that I want to see in the prototype. You want to shorten the frame, kind of hide the other components that are there, right? And then go to prototype and then say start flow here, meaning that you want to create a prototype from here. And then again, for this prototype, you want to enable vertical scroll. Why? Because you know there's something hidden here, right? So that's how you do it. And then again, you play the prototype, you see vertical scroll here. I want to, because we're here, I want to also show you something else. Let me turn off the this screen here. There is also like option for like both direction for scrolling. So you can create something like this. Let's say this is like this, and then you can say for scrolling behavior, I want to do it both directions. So when you turn on the prototype, you can scroll left side and also go up and down, or left and right, and kind of like also move between the page as well. So it's kind of like, well, if you want to be more creative. But to be honest, I never use this like functionality. I either go one direction, horizontal, I go left or right, or I do vertical. Like I kind of like want to lock my screens and application or how they move. Like I don't want to, and also it's not very common for users on application or website to scroll in multiple directions. We never do this on application. You know that kind of like on mobile application, usually the scrolling is vertical, you go up and down, right? And sometimes, let's say if you have a carousel, like in this case that we have here, then you will like scroll left and right. So this is how it's done, and why it's also like scrolling is super important for you to understand. Here on this example, you have sticky scroll plus scroll through, but it's very advanced scroll mechanism. I would not recommend also for you when you study this file. Do not look at this example, it's too complex for the hackathon. There is no need. Of course, you can play the prototype, you can see how it looks like, but for you to understand, it's really kind of like a complex scrolling behavior with the overlapping. There's like no need for you to do something like this on the prototype. It's not needed. It will take you a lot of time to master this. But again, if you want to like, again, improve your skills, you can have a look at how, for example, this example was made there. Questions regarding scrolling? Is everything answered? Okay, I think it was answered here, so we can move forward, right? Again, for interactive components, I've said that I've shown basically how you can create an interactive component here with this example. Again, I do not recommend for you to create this kind of interactive components. You can see here that you can like create this crazy animation in Figma, but it's kind of like more advanced, where like you connect these frames, but then in each frame you have this custom animation inside. So I don't think it's necessary for the sake of the hackathon. It's really advanced for you to do it. Like you can see here, you can do some interesting animation and stuff, but don't go this far for in the hackathon. It's really advanced. Just remember these two basic like flow. If you know how to connect one one screen to another one, and if you know how to make basic scrolling, it's more than enough for any website or application. It's just everything that you need for you to know how to connect a button to another screen, and that's it. No need for extra additional like stuff. Then I want to show you like now as of recently that also like Figma allows to add videos inside, and then yes, and then like also when you open these prototypes, you can play those like you can play those kind of like videos inside. So first of all, again, very simple. In order for you to have a video in a prototype, this can be useful. I'm not saying no. Like you have to again create a frame like we did, and then in this frame, right? The frame can be in the fill option here, design fill option. You can say I wanna have like a either like a solid color, I want to have a gradient, I want to have an image, or I want to have a video, right? And then if you want to have a video, you select a video like you select a video for it. But again, these functionalities requires for you to be on the professional plan. So I think it's nice for you to know. Maybe some of you will pay for it, but at least like I want to show you that you can also insert video like inside of Figma. If not, you will be limited to solid colors, to gradients, or to images that can be uploaded from your PC for building these prototypes, right? You can see here, right? We create a frame. Inside of the frame, we put an image, or we put a gradient, or like a solid color, right? We have three options here that you can play with. But nevertheless, I want to show you this prototype. It's kind of like again, you go to prototype. Here you can see how it's built. It was built like that. In a frame, a video was inserted, and then when you click on the button, you play the video, and then it's as simple as that. And then when you click on this button, we kind of play this video here that is inserted. Click again, you say stop. And again, here the functionalities for the video can be sometimes like advanced for you. This is kind of, again, more advanced functionality for building those prototypes. But if you're interested and if you're bored with scrolling and these basic interactions and you want to do something more cool, then try to do something with videos and animation, because also like Figma allows that. And this is it exactly on time. And then for us to kind of like what I wanted to tell you, like, this is the only skills that you need for building a prototype. Like again, when you go to this document, do not like focus on this thing. Basic presentation and scrolling prototypes is everything that you need for the hackathon, nothing else. Not the other things you can like practice at home on this document to improve your skills, how you can make a prototype out of video, or maybe how you can create interactive, but they're really advanced. And yes, no need for that. Okay, then now I'm going to move again to, if I don't have any questions, let me check.
There are
Yes,
some.
we will send the recording, yes. Also, there is like, can you scroll in general vertically, but kind of each card horizontally? As I mentioned here, you can scroll in Figma horizontally or vertically. You have to find your use case, right? So in the scrolling, like, for example, for this case, like there is like no need for this example here that we have to have like a horizontal scroll, because we have the images one after the other. But then on this example, we kind of place them like horizontally. So for this example, you will use horizontal scroll. For the first example, you will use like a vertical scroll. Maybe there will be a use case that you want to build something innovative, guys, and then it will say, I want to have both directions, horizontal and vertical. But again, I do not recommend using that functionality in Figma. So another thing, so I think now what I want to show you guys is how, because I mentioned on the presentation, is that basically here on the hackathon, you can there will be like two groups of people that might not know how to use like a wireframe like this in the middle, or there's going to be another group that they will maybe sketch something on their own, and then they will take those pictures and then they will place them inside of Figma. And I want to show you how you can like create a prototype out of a sketch image, right? So like this is what I want to like show you guys like now here. So let me open again file, and again here in this file I can say here I'm here on the last page. Here I'm going to rename it. I click on the button plus, right? File plus new page. I want to build here like a sketch prototype, right? So, and then for this, I kind of like in the presentation, I put a link because I don't have now time to draw something and then take the pictures. What I did was I found this link of someone like sketching something on Google, right? And I'm going to share these links with you for you to practice as well. And what I'm going to do is like just simply as that, I'm going to take some screenshot out of this app and I'm going to place them in Figma, and then we'll move from there. And I will say like, I'm going to now take a screenshot from the first screen that is here, right? And then just simply as this, drag and drop on the screen like this, and then I have a screen. You can do this, you can take a picture with your phone, or like you will have to figure out how you're going to do it on a hackathon. Maybe I want to use the second screen, right? And I'm going to put it into Figma, right? And then I'm going to say, I'm going to use the last screen over here that I have, right? And then this is also a reality what can happen in the hackathon. Maybe you won't be able to do much. Maybe you'll be able to just catch something, right? And then with this, like with this sketching, kind of like you will insert the pictures inside of like in Figma. But then how you can make this kind of like realistic pictures? How would you go about it, right? How would you like create a prototype out of those pictures? So for you to order to create a prototype out of the pictures, you, as I mentioned before, we started previously in design, right? You have to create frames out of like out of each picture, right? This is how you can create. And it's as simple as that. You select a picture, right click, you say a frame selection, and then from the picture you will create a frame, right? And this will be called app screen number one, right? There's another way how you can do it. You can create either frame, and then as I mentioned here, you can go to design, then to fill, and then to fill you find here image, and then you can upload it from your email or from somewhere else like that, that image that you have there, right? You can upload it. Let's say you took a picture of something, you say open, and then that picture is inside of that frame. So you can go both ways. You can either maybe we will put this as a like a last frame, right? So and then as I mentioned, for you to make the prototype, from each picture you have to make a frame. Then you will select the second picture. Again, right click, you open, and here you click frame selection. You created a second frame, and then again, for my sake, please rename them. You will say this will be the app screen number 2, and then same thing for the third screen. You will say again, frame selection. You will create the third frame, right? You will say this will be app screen number 3, and then this last screen it can be renamed to app screen number 4. And again, here you can very easily see, like you're in the hackathon environment, you sketch something, right? How easy and fast is to create a prototype. So basically here we have 4 frames that we want to play with, right, and create prototype out of. And I already know that I want to move from screen number 1 to screen number 2 to screen number 3 and screen number 4. And then let's say if I click somewhere on screen number 4 to move to screen number 1. So how would you create like a kind of like a section, clicking section in this screen? So first of all, you have to, let's say, select this frame here. And again, inside of that frame, you have to create multiple frames that you can click inside, right? So that's why you will go here to frame, right? And here you can kind of see you have created the button. And then inside of this, you will create a frame, right? So I can see here that inside of app screen number 1, I created, let's say, a button inside. Button. Right, and then that button will allow me, again, when I build my prototype, to select it, when I go to prototype, to find the arrows to connect them to screen number 2. Now, because I created a frame, now I have those arrows that I can drag and drop, right? I mentioned I can drag and from here to go to screen number 2, like this, right? Or I can start interaction and say on click, move, navigate to app screen number 2. And the arrow will show. And again, now I will select screen number 2. I'm going to again go to frame and I will say on this button, again, I've created a frame, and then on this button, this time I will use drag and drop, move here to screen number 3, right? And I can check on click, I want to navigate screen number 3, instantly, no animation or anything like that. And then on the third screen, I will say, okay, here again, frame. When I click on this button here, right, I want to navigate to screen number 4, which is the last one, right? I want to navigate to there. And then when I come here, again, frame, when I click, let's say, on this middle button, the whole one, I want to navigate to screen number all the way here now. So here, is this clear for everyone? I want to see comments and questions. Okay, no questions here. I think it should be clear. And then it's as simple as that. You will click, right? You can also open full screen. There, where is it? It's loading. Just give me some time. You can see here, I already created a prototype. When I click on this button, which is not actually a real button, it's an image, I can go to screen number 2. I can see the screen number 2. The only option that I can click is here. I click, I end up at screen number 3. Here on screen number 3, I can see that I can click on this button here. I move to this screen, which is actually an image. It's not a sketch or anything. And then I can move from, again, I will move to the last screen here. So you can see here, like, how simple is it for you to sketch something, right? To sketch some idea, and then with taking a picture of that idea, putting it into Figma, signing it to your email, creating these super easy frames. Like, it's just like a simple screenshot of something, drag it in Figma, right? And then either here, you go here, frame selection, and then you basically created a frame that you can create with other screens here, right? And someone mentioned previously, okay, what will happen now if I add another screen? Okay, no problem. Let's say on the third screen, now you want to connect it with this frame number 4. Let's say this button, you want to go on screen number 4. Let's see what happened with the prototype. Start here, go here. Now I can see that my prototype is like working to go to frame number 4, and I'm already there, right? I ended up at screen number 4 on frame 4 instead of like app screen number 4 here. So very easy also for you to add screens or remove screens from your prototypes. Like, no, it's super simple to build it. Okay, 10 minutes for this, and then 10 minutes for like maybe low to high fidelity prototype now to show. Like, if everything is clear how to create a sketch prototype, I hope this is helpful and very easy to use. Like, it's like cannot be more simple than this. Then I want to show you how you can create like a maybe more complex like a low fidelity to high fidelity prototype. Like let's say this will be called, let's rename the page. Low. Let's call this low fidelity prototype. And low fidelity prototype was like, again, if we return back here, it was like this middle one, or I would not again recommend to go to high fidelity prototype, this middle one. How you can build low fidelity prototype is if you go to assets, right? And then you will find some of these already published UI kits that I mentioned, right? So UI kits are useful because they have already some stuff inside. They have built buttons, and you don't have to build from scratch. By default now, Figma allows you to use these three like by default material design or and you have everything. You have buttons and labels, everything that you need to build an application or website like here. So you just have to select one of them and then just drag and drop on the canvas, and that's it. Everything is built, pre-built for you in a way. Another thing that I want to mention, let's say I can see more UI hits. For example, I have published such UI kits on Figma community. You can see them. I have like my most famous one is for Angular material. It has almost 30,000 downloads. You have other ones, and of course you can select them again here from Figma community. You can open them in Figma and use those components to build something. And then you can like see, again, open in Figma. You will kind of download them in your own projects and then use them. But I'm like kind of shy, not going to use my own kits. Like if you want, you can use them for the hackathon. You can just duplicate them into your file and then start working from them. If not, you can select from the other like libraries that you have in Figma, and you have like a ton of libraries that you can like use in Figma. But then again, the simple way to build, let's say, low kind of like fidelity prototype is for you to use these UI kits, predefined UI kits that have, let's say, some buttons inside and some examples there. And again, a fastest way to design something is like to go, when you go to frame here, you focus, let's say, I want to build an iPhone 16, frame is already built, you build 2 frames, and then let's say from this kind of like UI kits that are inside of Figma, let's say in the first screen you can drag and drop like a card or something with a button, and then for the second screen you can drag and drop like let's say a button here in the middle and place it inside of the frames, right? And then it's kind of like you can build this kind of like a low fidelity prototypes. Also, these kind of like they offer like some more advanced templates as well. Sometimes they offer like a full pages, right? That you can kind of like edit the text as well. So they kind of like they give you some like a predefined low fidelity, so you don't have to like build. Let's say I don't want to, if it's too complex for you to build a website, maybe you can like drag and drop one of these websites that are already existing inside of Figma. Same goes for this material kit from material kit. They have like different wireframes. Let's say this is from material design, right? So, and this was like from Figma. You have options. I would not recommend for you, if you're building this low fidelity or moving towards high fidelity, for you to build everything, all the buttons from scratch. They're already pre-existing like pre-existing libraries that have these buttons. You don't have to build them. There's no need for you at this time to build a button, because there are so many buttons built from other companies. You just have to find the correct UI kits that are worth it for you, and then just include them into your designs. And again, here you have already the frames. It's very easy. You just have to let's say move to this area which is called prototype, right? And then on this prototype area, when you're on prototype, let's say when you click on this button, you can say, I want to move to iPhone screen number 16. And then on this from screen 2, you want to move back, right? And this is where the flow starts. And then you can you can start this flow. It's here, right? When you click on this button, you already end up here, and then you move back and forth. And it's as simple as this, like building a low fidelity, like a prototype, but it's done. It can be only done through these like kind of UI kits that are all in the presentation. And I really would recommend for you, you can use mine or these ones that are from Figma. Just find something that works for you, but don't design stuff from scratch. Just use these kind of components that you have there, put them inside of frames, right? And then build the prototype that works for you, right? Build this prototype that works for you, and everything, because everything is already inside of a frame. You just have to find the correct frame and then connect it to the screen that you want to lead it for you. Very, very simple. So like you can see here, like also how simple is either to build a sketch prototype, but also low fidelity prototype, right? The most difficult option is for you to build a high fidelity prototype, because then you really have to think about colors and fonts and real images. But I think you can also find a middle ground, like there as well. So yeah, that's thing. The next thing that you have to learn is like, you have to learn how to share this prototype, like because this was the first phase of rapid prototyping. The second phase is like testing the prototypes and testing prototype is super simple. You can always like share this link. You can see who can view it, copy the link, and then you can share with your like let's say with your like peers, right? I can share, for example, this prototype with you. You can access it. You can see what I have done there. Do you like it? Do you don't like it? Like, and then you can give me some feedback. And that's it. Like, it's like as simple as it. Like, you just like click on share prototype. You click on copy link and then share it in somewhere in the chat. And that's it basically. Now I'm going to return back to Figma to move to the other kind of like a stages. Like this was like the everything that it's needed for the first phase of like this rapid prototyping that you have to go. So this what you can build in Figma, low high fidelity prototypes. You see how simple it is to build them in Figma. Then the second stage will be to review the designs with someone and then refine them, right? And you can already see like how easy it is to share a prototype with like maybe I can show now the full slideshow with you. How easy it is to share these prototypes with other participants. However, in the environment of the participants, sometimes the participants are next to you. So maybe you will, instead of sharing this link with a participant, you will take your PC and you will take your PC to like a colleague from the other group, and you will show them this prototype you have created, and you can ask them, do you want to click maybe on this prototype? Show them, like, tell me what you think about it. And then for you guys, I also prepared some questions that you want to ask, like you want to like ask the people that are on the hackathon around you when you show that link of the prototype. You want to like maybe ask them, what grabs your attention? What do you think about this button? What do you think about that button? What do you think when you look at this? And what stands out to you? Do you understand the information? Like, go through these questions. Also, if you don't know how to like what to ask, I think these questions can kind of like help you when you approach someone to ask like to give you a feedback, right? If you don't know like how to get a feedback from your prototype. If you're maybe too shy, if you don't want to go into person to people, I would also highly recommend for the hackathon environment for you to just open like a simple Google form or something like that. Place the Figma link there, and then create like this question into the survey, and then send that survey to the people around you. Maybe and if you don't want things, and then you will receive the answers like through this kind of like a Google form survey. And lastly, I think, and then the last phase will be, of course, based on that feedback for you to kind of like refine the designs, go back again to Figma, right? And refine, maybe move the button here, move the button there, because you realize the users on the hackathon did not like how maybe the navigation was done. There's a question, let me say. When we create the low fidelity prototype with the gray box and black buttons, is it possible then to click and change their colors here? Yes, yes, yes. It's the same. Low fidelity, if you use these libraries, you can go and always change colors, you can change text. They're like you can edit basically everything like from there. So like very easily when you use those UI kits, all the UI kits are made for you to change the colors and the text as well. So you can change everything and you can add stuff as well. I hope that answers your questions. Okay, got it, thanks. Like those UI kits are super practical. You can like create your own team and everything. So like highly recommend for you to use them. And then I said, you're going to build something with this link sharing functionality. You're going to test it with users. I've posted some questions in the presentation there that what can you ask potential users, how you can test it, right? You will get the feedback and then you will go back to Figma, right? And then you will improve the designs based on that. And then, of course, if you have time, repeat this process a couple of times. Build something, test it, refine it, build, test, refine it. You will have 2 days. If you go through this process 2 times, it will be great. You know, at least try to go on through this circle at least once and then again 2 times, I would say. I think you have time in those 2 days to, and then again, as I mentioned here, just select a couple of screens. Don't go 20 screens, it's just too much. 10, 15 screen maximum, right? And then build a prototype based like on 10, 15 yes. And then, of course, you will have to do the pitch. That's the last thing that we that you're going to do. Like and there's like a difference between prototype. There's a difference between MVP, and there's a difference between product. What will be requested from you on the hackathon is for you to build some kind of an MVP. So, but the MVP is not just the prototype that you're going to build. The MVP will be also the development the developers did. And it's going to, and then you have to decide on the pitch how you're going to present it. Maybe you will show that prototype on the presentation, or maybe not. Maybe the prototype will be used to build maybe the developers will be super fast and they will be able to build something. But the MVP usually is kind of like a coded stuff. It's not like a prototype in Figma. But nevertheless, some teams, I know they won't be able to code something. At the end, you might be able to just have a prototype, a simple prototype done in Figma or some other tool. And for sure, on the hackathon, lastly, we won't be able to have the product. The final product would mean for you to have like a font, pictures, for the product to be developed. It's impossible to do it in 2 days. But in 2 days, what you can do is maybe build a prototype. And if the developers are fast enough to build like some code, similar, like a application that is coded or website similar to the prototype that you have done, and then you will go to the final like stage of pitching there. But again, it will be up to the teams to decide what they want to present on their pitch, right? And then again, on my presentation, I think I should wrap up as well. You have all the useful links, that everything that I've shown, it's here for this presentation. Like you will find everything there, like the file where we practice the exercise, the UI kits that you can have a look, mine UI kits that you can find them, the picture of the low for you to understand what is low versus high fidelity prototype, the app sketches example, which not useful for you, but maybe you want to practice on them, and then what is the difference between prototype and MVP for you to also to be able to understand that. And then lastly, what I want to choose just to add that the last workshop after mine is like the pitching techniques, which will be held on the 24th of October between 6 and 7 o'clock. So again, we mentioned that still for you guys, you still have time today to enroll for the hackathon if you want. But then on the Constructor Academy side, you have offered 10% discount on all the courses, and the promo code is her hack 2024. So yeah, I mean, I would really like go, like now you went through the development of workshops, prompt engineering, rapid prototyping. The next workshop will be kind of pitching how to prepare for the final presentation. And I would highly recommend for all of you to attend that presentation. I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. I would love to attend it, but yeah, I'll be maybe that time flying to for my like vacation destination. So that's it from my side. Thank you. If you now we're going to start the Q&A questions, but we were like also answering questions. But anyway, I'm going to stay here as long as you need me. If you have any questions, you can scan this code. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and then I will answer questions with you as well. Okay, I see one in the chat, one question. Thank you. Okay, yes, we have 5 minutes for questions, but I also can stay longer. I can show more examples in Figma if you want. If someone wants to raise their hand, also like if someone raising, no one is raising their hand. I think all is clear. Can you give a quick rundown of the essential features needed to do MVP app? Scrolling is enough. I think navigation, those two exercises, navigation and scrolling up and down, for you to be able to show how you can scroll the website, right? It's crucial. And then, yes, and then maybe for you to, let's say for you to show, if you click on a button, how you will move to the next screen. And then for people, if the screen is bigger, can you show the scroll and stick example? I can, but that I think is more advanced functionality. You can do it, but I think for the hackathon, it's not needed. Like, it's really like, it's more kind of like an advanced prototyping functionality to show a sticky bar or sticky menu. I think, again, if you want to learn how to do a sticky scroll in Figma, maybe you can look at the in the examples of many examples that are like on YouTube. Again, it's kind of like more advanced functionality. It's not really needed. You will have plenty of things to do for the on the hackathon. But again, if you want to be a pro, then practice and then find how you can do it. I think you have plenty of resources as well. Here, like on this, here on Figma community, on the first file, I want to show you this. So I will want to show you where you can find the additional workshops, not just my workshops, but if you go to Figma, right? Figma has published many workshops, and they have also like a whole section for prototyping as well. If you want to like practice your like more stuff there. Again, you can on YouTube, you can go to their Figma channel. They have also like many playlists.
Yes, the number of different things.
Videos, podcasts, playlists here. So you can also like here find all the like prototyping playlists that are like, if you really build if you want to really build on your prototyping skills. Again, like you learn on your own pace, right? There are like many cool stuff that you can do in Figma, but for the sake of the prototype, like just limit yourself. Like I honestly, like from my experience, I do prototypes in Sunrise, but the functionalities that I'm using are like those arrows and just scrolling up and down, left and right. I cannot unfortunately show you those prototypes, but even for like, it's just what user needs, like just for the user to see it, right? Okay, when we create a website on Figma, when we share it, I think it's going to be a temporary URL. Do we link it to original URL? Say for a company. So that seems like it's like, no, actually when you share something in Figma, the URL is like, it's done. It's like, that's the URL that you have it. Like it doesn't change. It will never change. Like it will change if you create a new prototype, right? But for this prototype, you will always have the same URL. Even if you update the screens or you expand the prototype, the URL will always stay the same. And it's basically, yes. And basically it's like this URL for this flow number one. Like the URL for flow number one will never change, no matter how much you change the prototype, it will always stay the same, right? It doesn't matter if I add something in the if I add something there, the URL will always stay the same, right? If I go here, I can restart this, I have new stuff, but my URL will always stay the same. It will always work, even if you do something. Okay, so I understand that with the free version of Figma, I'm limited to only 3 files in one project. For self-learning, would this be enough? Are there any other apps that you would recommend for self-learning and playing around with prototyping? I think for learning, it's enough. For now, like if you're a student with your student version, if you log in with your student URL, let's say you have like name, surname at eth.edu or something like that. With that, if you make an account with those emails, you will have unlimited unlimited files. But if you just have like a private email like Gmail, you have 3 files. But then again, like you have when you open a file, let's say we open this prototype, you have unlimited number of pages that you can create. You can create multiple pages. There is no limitation of this, and then also there is no limitation on how many prototypes you build or how many you can like. What they limit with this free version is that you can kind of create this kind of 3 different files. You can see here, like I use my professional, and I have multiple files, and then inside of those files I have multiple pages. But for you, it just for the hackathon, it's just really enough to create 1 file, and then inside you can create as many pages as possible as you want. Okay, what we should focus during the hackathon: to create a prototype, to illustrate the solution, or the implementation on the MVP. I mean, follow the instructors there. Like, I don't want to give clear answer like to this. Look what's happening around you, like maybe, and also what is required on the hackathon, right? I really, now also the organizer of the hackathon is not here, Astrid. I think she left mid presentation, but I think
So I think I can answer this question. This is Ekaterina from Constructor Academy, and we
awesome.
discussed
Sure.
what will be needed.
Thank you.
I mean, again, it's not like super strict recommendations, right? Because you need to also work, how to say, creatively, and don't be limited by what I'm saying right now. But you will have, let's say, several criteria how your project will be estimated, and it's like from 5 to 6 different criteria. And MVP is one of them. So basically, when you develop somewhat nice MVP, right, or like develop a nice Figma prototype, of course, you will get your points for this. But again, it really depends, because it's pitching, it's prototyping, it's also the code, and it's all of it have certain weights, right? And all of this combined together. So that's what I can say, at least for now. And to create a prototype to illustrate the solution or implementing the MVP itself, what do you to focus? I would say creating a prototype probably can be enough, because MVP is something that you already can test on the users, and prototype you can just show how your app can look like, and you can produce some code, and I think that should be already okay. Yeah,
Thanks for the feedback. I'm glad it was informative. It's going to be recorded, and then we will share the presentation with you and everything. And then yes, I wish everyone good luck for the hackathon. I really enjoyed spending the time with you. I hope that you learned something. And yes, do register. You have time and have fun. I really love hackathons. They're like super, like, yes, they will inspire you for sure. And then you will meet great people there, and then use also that time to network.
Yeah, I also want to thank you, Dimitar. It was really amazing and informative session. Thanks a lot for participating, and for everyone. Yes, also please focus on having fun, and maybe winning the hackathon is also kind of nice, but just take it as a learning experience and have fun, find new people, network. I think it should be great in this way.
Yeah, you never also know what might happen, like from a hackathon. Maybe you will like create your own startup afterwards. You won't be like, you will like find a group of people that you like you like, and then you create a team, and that's it. Yeah. So like yes, I think it's a great environment, and with also like yes, especially because it's like women's focus and everything like that.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. And see you there.
Yes.
So
Good
see you
luck,
there, guys.
everyone. Yes. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.